Are you on the line with me now, by chance?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. How are we doing this morning?
I'm great. It's summer and it's going to be a gorgeous day.
It really is, and just really beautiful downtown Alton right now. We had our sky cam up before the show started, and it just looks great out there. And, right off the bat, how's everything going with the Wedge Innovation Center?
Things are taking off. It's moving so fast. Fall can't come fast enough. The building is under construction and all of the programs and partnerships are building as we speak. So it's a really exciting time, not only at the Wedge, but in what's going on in Alton.
Absolutely. And Emily, fill me in on how you joined up with the Alton Works team. How did that come about and develop?
Yeah, so I am the founding executive director of Tech STL, which is the tech council here in St. Louis. So we serve the 15-county bi-state. So we serve both the 7 counties in Missouri as well as the 8 counties in Illinois. And, this is actually a really small world. The tech and innovation community in the St. Louis region it's a big city, but a small town. And so as the Wedge has really been developing over the past few months, we've been hearing some incredible stories and all the work that's been going on in Alton over the past several years. And so out of that partnership, we were able to really find some phenomenal synergy with the work that Tech STL is doing across the broader region in driving the emerging technology space and the data economy, and being able to really get invested in what's going on over in Metro East and on the Illinois side of the river. And so it just presented this really awesome opportunity to bring the weight of Tech STL, our massive network of members and individuals, and be able to really start growing this space over in the town of Alton. And so it's been perfect timing, I think, on both fronts. And the combination of the two efforts, I think, has really created this firestorm of excitement of how technology and innovation is really brewing across the broader region.
100%. And, as this goes forward, fill me in on some of the things that us in the Riverbend community can kind of expect in the next couple of months, because I know summer's going to be busy, and with the new developments with Lucas Row and all of that going down that corridor, there's a lot to look out for. But specifically with the Wedge, what can you kind of fill us in on some of the milestones that are coming up along the way?
Well, so the building itself will be open this fall. So we're looking at the September, October, November stage where we're able to start really bringing people in and hosting events. But we are actively building the community as we speak, right? So we're having conversations about the anchor tenants and the companies that are wanting to participate in the co-working space. We're launching initiatives right now around AI and data and health and all of these great initiatives that are going to be based in the Alton area. Some of the anchor tenants, like our partnership with SIUE, is already under development. And so being able to really start exploring what Alton is going to open up to the whole region around really driving the innovation opportunity that we have. AI is so hot right now. Data is so hot. And so really being able to be this bridge for the region of how we're supporting the research universities and the tech startups and the corporations really in this space, that we can start having those conversations and building those networks now. And so that's what we're doing in preparation for the building to actually open this fall, so that by the time we open those doors to this new world-class innovation space in downtown Alton, we already have a lot of the partners and the momentum and the traction in place to be able to really hit the ground running.
Absolutely. And Emily, how is that going to look as it all comes together? Because that's what I always was so fascinated with so many moving parts to this innovation center and this hub and incubator. I'm sure that there was, the conversation on, well, how does this, how is it going to look, and how are we going to lay this out, and what's it going to, kind of look like for the public too? And now when we open the doors here in the summer or in the fall here, how is it going to lay out inside the Wedge when it comes to those partnerships and with SIUE, and when it comes to providing those opportunities to the community? How do they spread out inside the building?
So first of all, I want to say the group that's been driving this work in Alton, the Alton Works team, has really been making strategic investments for over 5 years in driving this foundational growth, that it made it so that when the Wedge opportunity presented itself, they had already done a lot of the big work, right? That there's such a powerful combination between the entire town of Alton being now within the next year, having access to broadband, that everybody's going to get online. They're all going to have high-speed internet. That is really opening up opportunity for all of the residents of Alton to get connected. But then being able to have the Wedge really is this anchor facility, that it's not only helping the town of Alton to get connected to the region, it's giving us this venue that we're able to bring all of the MSA to Alton, right? That it's really opening up the door and creating this phenomenal state-of-the-art facility that is. So I've taken several tours. I've walked through the space. I mean, right now it's under construction, but what they are building is incredible. It's one of the most advanced spaces that not only, in Madison County, but in the broader St. Louis region, and frankly, going toe to toe with a lot of programs that are in the state of Missouri as well. And so this is really giving us the chance to have this flagship space that's not only allowing the residents of the Alton community and Metro East to have this incredible facility to now operate out of, but it's also bringing in a lot of great innovators, thought leaders, powerhouse organizations to now have a presence in the Alton community, because it's bridging between the great opportunities that are happening in Missouri and in Illinois, and really helping to leverage the broader conversations that we're having within, these topics like AI and data and health equity and all of those things. So I can't wait for the space to open. It's 4 floors of, it's a massive building. It's like 10,000 square feet. They're outfitting it with all the best technology, with state-of-the-art infrastructure. And it's just going to be a beautiful, classy innovation space in the town of Alton that's going to help attract folks from all across the region.
That and I'm really looking forward to that too. And Emily, just to touch on that really briefly too, just a brief follow up. Is there going to be certain floors dedicated to the partnerships with SIUE? Are there going to be certain floors dedicated to certain sectors of what the Alton Works footprint is?
Yes, absolutely. So we are definitely learning from the models in other innovation districts and co-working spaces that are working so well across the region. One of our partner organizations is T-Rex, which is in downtown St. Louis. They have done such a great job of designating certain floors to different focus areas. And we're definitely following their lead on that. And so with it being 4 floors, we're able to designate different spaces on those floors towards different focus areas, so that we're able to then recruit partners and companies to have a presence within that space. So one of the core focuses that we have at the Wedge is going to be around AI and AI and data innovation. And so being able to really carve out a corner of the second floor that's really designated to supporting AI innovators, departments of universities. SIUE will be there. So will a lot of anchor tenants in large corporations, being able to really facilitate just these conversations around what's happening in AI innovation, not only across St. Louis and the MSA, but across the Midwest as a whole. So SIUE is one of our largest anchor tenants. They have been incredibly supportive from the beginning on this, helping to really drive the work and the bridge aspect of connecting the research experts and leaders at SIUE, as well as partners across the broader metro. They will have a large presence, I believe, on the 3rd floor. And so we're making sure now that we're having conversations with those big anchor tenants that help really drive kind of the framework of the facility. But that, at the end of the day, this is a co-working space as well. And so really making sure that we've got plenty of space for the freelancers, the individuals, the companies that just want to have one office there, that they've got maybe a handful of staff that are working in the Metro East area, or that they just want to have a presence in the spaces like the AI. So we're in the process of developing what's called MAIN Labs. It's MAIN, so it stands for Midwest AI Network, that will have the presence there at the Wedge. And so really just trying to create all the stickiness between these great partners so that we can have the power of bringing people together, that's really what triggers a lot of new innovation across the region, where you're able to meet new folks and partner with new companies in order to really drive your projects forward.
Well, and on top of that too, and that really sounds fantastic. And on top of that too, Emily, as we're talking here, it seems like with the Wedge, it's really geared towards with those partnerships with SIUE. Not really geared towards, but it really welcomes in that newer generation into Alton. And is this one of Alton and your is this one of Alton Works's ways too of maybe bringing in some newer technology and providing that opportunity to maybe somebody that's younger that doesn't really necessarily want to leave or they want to move into the community? Is that part of the blueprint mission too?
Absolutely. I mean, the reality is that especially with ChatGPT and as quickly as AI is moving, the world of innovation has changed. Business is more innovative. Jobs as a whole are more innovative. That if we're really wanting to appeal to that next generation of talent, we're having to build the spaces that they want to be part of. And we're having to cater to the kinds of technology that they want to be engaged within. And so helping to put not only the town of Alton on the map of being a destination for this frontline talent that is entering the workforce and is really trying to find its place, but also being that anchor point for the St. Louis region, that Alton is such a phenomenal space to live, that it has all of the amenities of the beautiful environment and outdoor recreation and tons of phenomenal houses. Now with the high-speed internet and a space like the Wedge, it's making it even more appealing to that new professional space as well as the young families that are looking for a great place to call home. Now having the means to be able to either work a phenomenal hybrid job, remote job, or to launch their own innovation-based startup. The Wedge is really helping to open up those opportunities for the community of Alton, and to have other choices for the broader tech community of St. Louis.
Absolutely. And, just going back or following up on that, too, with the city of Alton, take me through the partnership that you guys are feeling with the city, because I know that, this was something that was welcomed by, city council and committee of the whole and really has seemed to be really a good fit. Take us through those conversations with the local officials, our elected officials, and, their thoughts on it and the support that the city's been showing and just your thoughts on it.
Whenever you embark upon a multi-year revitalization project, which is what the Alton Works group has been navigating, you're always having to continually build those relationships with the local political community, right? You have to go hand in hand with your local government. And, this has been a long process of developing this. I think the town of Alton and the local officials are really starting to see the level of investment that this effort has had in the town. Transformation takes time, and it takes working through hurdles and complications. And so knowing that our team is working so closely with the town of Alton, and that we've had those hard conversations, but we've also been able to overcome them and start achieving some really significant results for the community. I think that we're getting to the place where the results are going to be able to start really proving why this was so worth the time, energy, and investment. Being able to start watching the community transform before our eyes. And I'm so excited to have the Wedge open, because I think it's going to be a real demonstration, not only to the local officials and our partners in the community, but to the residents themselves as to what's possible when we do come together. And we dream big, and we make big choices and big investments, and we make these things possible, not just for us, but for our children and for the future of Alton. So I think that we're at this turning point where things are about to start to become real. It's not just about selling the idea of what's possible, but it's about now making that possible happen, and entering this next phase of bringing it all to life. So it's a big moment for our team. It's also a big moment for the town of Alton as things are starting to really click in, and all this work is starting to really come together into something really impressive and powerful for the people of the community.
And it's one of those things too that I know that there's so much excitement, and when that opening date does come into play, and we're just a couple of days down the road from it here in a few months, I know that it's all going to be about the Wedge conversation and those doors opening. But Emily, going back, just wanted to touch base on this AI network that's being developed. Can you fill me in a little bit more on that, because that's something that is definitely of interest to me and our listening audience here. We had a few texts come in wanting to know a little bit more information about it. Could you provide us some?
Absolutely. So we are formalizing this as we speak. It's definitely something that TechSTL as an organization has been able to watch over the past 2 years as AI has just completely transformed the innovation landscape. And the fact that we don't have more consortiums right now that are actively supporting the AI and data innovation space is proving that we do need this kind of network. And so the Wedge has presented this opportunity to be able to really solidify. So Maine is looking at building a network of partners that is not just across the MSA, but is broadly across the Midwest footprint. So we're thinking, the 8 states within, surrounding Missouri and Illinois, and being able to bring together, the universities and higher education departments that are focusing on AI innovation, as well as the corporate partners that have that emphasis as well, and really driving and rooting it in the frontline innovators that are either in the startups or in the mid-sized tech companies that are really on that forefront of AI innovation, and how we are not only getting more invested in the role and importance of data for the region, right? That we're helping to drive more conversation around investing in a regional data integration system, in looking at the security of public data, as well as being able to build relationships to start sourcing more internal data across the region. And then at the end of the day, how is that then applied and implemented through AI technology, right? And so it's really marrying these two worlds. Is how is the Wedge uniquely positioned to be this data steward, almost building this data network and partnership, so that then we're able to look at how the power of AI can really transform that data and advance all of the industries that we're engaging here. So ag tech, food tech, health tech, education, economic development, businesses, right? That this is industry agnostic. And so what we're really looking at is how we are in a place where we can start building the main network of partners, to start having those conversations and getting a sense of what kind of investment we need to make, not only in the physical space and physical technology to have an active AI lab at the Wedge, but also the digital footprint, right? AI is largely infrastructure that lives online. And so how, as a collective, we can make big moves to make strategic investment in the kind of resources that this region needs, to be able to really elevate this conversation and drive this frontline research in how AI is being leveraged and can be leveraged within all the industries that we have across the St. Louis MSA.
That's really interesting, and I mean a really interesting conversation, and one that I'm kind of a little bit surprised about this morning. Emily, I love this. This is something that is really really unique. And now take me through some of those some of that data sharing, because I know that data could incorporate a lot of different things. Because for us in news, RiverBender, we have our own programs that our software team kind of developed with AI and that we use, not for our stories, but for my show, like on the state and history, automatic responses and things like that to do. But in terms of ag and in terms of healthcare and all of those really important industries, and even just for small business owners and resource tools, there's a whole lot of data that could be shared between, especially if we're talking 8 states. And are you looking almost at like a consortium of different partners that come together, provide that data, and then you develop the product, or better, the tools afterwards? Am I on to something there?
Absolutely. You get it all, man.
Oh, good.
Well,
I don't get right very often. I'm not right very often.
Well, let me officially confirm. You know what you're talking about. I mean, that's the same angle that we're taking here. And I think that, so what we have the opportunity to really explore right now is to invest and double down on the critical infrastructure that we need across the metro to be able to have this real meaningful partnership across all of these players, right? And so when it comes to AI, the quality of what you're building is reflected in the quality of your data. One of the biggest challenges that we have across the St. Louis MSA is that we do not have a major investment in the critical data infrastructure. We don't have an open data office because there is a separation between the St. Louis City, St. Louis County, which is typically where that lives. We don't have a regional data integration system that is safely managing that data and sharing that with the region. And so one of the things that we're looking at is if we're able to fundraise and start the process of developing that data integration system and be able to serve as that data steward for the region, be the combination of Tech STL as an organization, as well as, having the Wedge and the partnership in the town of Alton. What that opens up, because when it comes to the data, we're looking at really 3 core buckets of data. We've got the public data that is already available, that is out there, real estate data, health data, educational data, that is there, that we can improve access to that data. Mm-hmm. There's also then the second bucket, which is organizational or industry data that needs to be provided in order to shed some light on that next level down. So, a great example of that is geospatial is one of the biggest industries here in St. Louis right now. Geospatial as a whole is not cleanly identified within public data, right? So a lot of geospatial jobs are actually classified as IT jobs, right?
Well, I did not know that.
Yeah, it tends to be one of those combination industries that, like, the government itself doesn't track geospatial jobs. So a lot of them are like data analytics or software development or cybersecurity, right? Or like security jobs. And so in order for us to be able to track how the geospatial industry is actually growing, a lot of that data has to be then translated through the organizations, right? The organization itself has to say, even though this is a software developer job, it's actually a geospatial job. That's something that we have to source from the organization to be able to track it. The third bucket is the data that is very internal. It tends to be proprietary. It's hard to get from the organizations or companies themselves. But if we're able to build that strong working relationship, we're able to either source the data itself or at least source the trends from the companies. Wow. That requires having infrastructure that people trust, as well as having relationships that companies trust. And so this is a very complex process. That data backbone is critical for our region to be able to track the health and progress of our workforce, of our economy, of our businesses, and being able to have this data structure that then the companies are able to access, that they're able to source from that data to then start implementing, using AI to implement that data within their tech systems, within their new innovation, right? It spins off so many opportunities for businesses because they then can source the data that they need to build great products and to build new companies. So all of these things, it's a rippling effect, but it's a major investment in the beginning.
Well, Emily, this is something to really be excited about. It sounds really promising. And now on the flip side of all of that too, I was hearing, all these different spokes on this gigantic wheel, and it definitely is a project you're undertaking, but one that has the potential to really have some impact here. As things get going with the AI, the AI development and organizational structure you guys are attempting, is there going to be an opportunity, and going back just to here locally, maybe for a small business owner who, has maybe done something for 10 years but doesn't know anything about the industry, and the technological changes, they're just trying to, kind of stay afloat. Are they going to have opportunities to stop inside the Wedge and kind of learn about that information and use it for their own small business as well?
Absolutely. And that's one of the big priorities that we've been looking at, because so the Alton Works and the Alton Forward initiatives that they've been able to start really tackling. Alton Forward is the group that's looking at the integrating broadband, but they've also received funding around digital education, right? And so one of the biggest priorities that we've been looking at here is that we're trying to invest in the full spectrum of entrepreneurs and tech talent, because at this point, tech education can transform any job in any business, right? And so if we are really investing in the transformation of the region, it starts with education. It starts with exposing our community to the resources and opportunities that they may not know is available. That any business when you introduce new technology to the business, it gives that business the potential to access new markets and to increase revenue, to streamline systems, right? So all of this educational piece has to be taken more seriously across the region, no matter what stage of life or stage of business or stage of career that you're in, because this is a powerful tool. And so we're taking that very seriously, right? That we're investing in access points along the entire pipeline. That we're launching a new CDFI, which is a Community Development Financial Institution. So it's an early stage bank that supports businesses that are not bankable, but that they need those first $35,000 to $50,000 loan, and specifically looking at technology integration. And so it can be an existing business that's trying to integrate a new piece of technology. It can be a tech-based business that's getting launched, right? So we're trying to really think about, for us to really take ownership of our role in serving the region through this lens, we need to look at every stage through this process. And that requires educational support, that requires funding support, that requires data and infrastructure support, and new connections, right? So trying to really look at all of the different facets of rolling this out and allowing it to be as impactful as possible. Those are definitely some of the boxes that we're looking to check. And so we're also looking for folks that are eager to come in and support that process. So there are a lot of members of the community that can come in as trainers or advisors, as mentors through this, as we're really building this community of supporting tech opportunity, regardless of who you are or what you're doing.
Absolutely. And Emily, it's been a pleasure speaking with you about this. And as we get closer to the opening, I'd love for you to come back on and join me. And also, as we get closer to that opening, I'd love to stop by and see all what you guys have in store and do a little bit of a tour myself too, because this is something that we need to stay up to date and in the know on, as this could directly impact our region in a very big way. Emily Hemingway with Alton Works and Tech STL, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thanks. I'm always happy to come back.
Awesome. Before we take a quick pause here, let me fill you in on one of our best partners, and that's Centerstone. If you're looking for a fresh start on the road to recovery, a life free from addiction is possible, and it starts with our friends at Centerstone. Centerstone is that national leader in mental health and substance abuse disorder treatment for people of all ages, and with a commitment to delivering care that truly changes people's lives, Centerstone's clinicians use evidence-based practices in their treatment programs. So that means the recovery care plan is developed for you, based on the latest science. There's so many unknowns on that road to recovery, but one thing you can know for sure is that Centerstone will be that constant guiding force for you on your recovery journey. Addiction, again, it can happen to anybody, but so can recovery. So start working towards your recovery today by visiting Centerstone online at recoverwithus.org. That's recoverwithus.org.